with you in MLW, it's funny. I was like watching you cut a promo, and I'm like, wow, she's cutting promos now. Were you always like into the wrestling aspect of it, besides just being the backstage announcer? Like really getting into developing a character.
Thank you. I'm trying to think
Yeah,
of which one you may have seen because I've been intense lately. It's been so
yeah,
great. But it's one of those things where I have always enjoyed it in terms of being the backstage host, but I've realized, I don't mean this in an egotistical way, but I've realized I bring a lot more to the table than just holding a microphone. Like I know how to play off the boys. I have my own opinions. If someone's yelling at me, Richard Holiday, like I'm not just going to take it, I'm not that kind of person. So why would I be when it comes to wrestling? So it's really been able to be a whole other opportunity for me. And the fact that MLW support it and they're like, hey, we hired you for you. Like, we love this. Keep rolling with it. You can cut a promo. You can uh, lead to other avenues and opportunities. I eat it up. I love it. So the fact that they're letting me have many different hats on this head, like it's so cool. It's so exciting. And this is only the beginning. Like there is a lot more planned and a lot more to come. So yeah, I'm pumped.
nice. I was thinking about the Richard Holiday one because that was like, wow, look at that! Like she's got some character, some range
Thank
here.
you. I
Yeah,
think that's the thing. A lot of people will see a backstage host, and by no means am I saying all of them, but a lot of the role is to stand there, say the lines that are pre-written for you, hold the mic, and then the scene ends. And I never wanted to just be a face. I wanted to be an actual persona. And the fact that I can do that now, it's the best feeling ever. And I'm not even putting on an act. Like I can just be myself and it comes naturally. So the fact that I am going to be cutting more promos and doing some in-ring stuff in terms of not wrestling, but just going out there and being on the mic and knowing I can do it, like that's a real confidence booster. And I
yeah.
hope it shows people who doubted me in the beginning, especially in locker rooms, that hey, I'm a lot more than what you might think. I can excel at one thing, but there's plenty more going on behind that one thing you might know me for.
I know it's natural, but where does the character come from? Is there like an influence there, or is there something you've seen before where you're like, I can bring this out of myself? Like, where does that kind of emanate from?
Honestly, I have gone through quite a bit lately just in terms of being done with stuff and being treated a certain way. So it's just been like my life. It's really just been my life. I've had it up to here with some stuff and I know what I deserve. So anytime someone does try to cross me, whether in my day to day life or wrestling, I'm just not going to have it. So it's kind of me, but cranked to 11 in a sense. And the one person in wrestling that I've always just loved and tried to emulate in just certain circumstances would be Mean Gene, just because like what an icon. Anytime he was on the screen, you were watching him just as much as the iconic wrestler beside him. So yeah, I guess it's a mix between just being myself and then trying to get in some of those little jokes and jabs that he would get in once in a while. Well, not once in a while, pretty much all the time.
Yeah. Yes, he was the best. He's the one
Yeah.
guy, like he plays the straight guy, but he'll throw in there, the certain attitude, or or
Yes.
or he can bring it back and be really serious if that's the case. But then if somebody's being a wise ass to him, he'll be a wise ass. I mean, he
Yeah.
had such great range, but it's so funny. He was great at like the straight man, and all of a sudden, boom, Mean Gene would attack.
Yeah, 100%. And that's kind of one of the things I like is you don't always just have to be monotone, ask the question, and then it's on to the next match or the next promo. Like you can actually have range as a backstage interviewer or a host, and it doesn't have to be one note. And that's been just the most fun to be able to tap into and just seeing I can do it because this is never something I thought I could excel in. And I was told so many times I couldn't. So now I'm just out here, with a big like FU attitude. I'm gonna do what I want, and MLW have been really supportive of where we're going with it. So, yeah.
How did you actually, when MLW kind of approached you, like how does that happen? Does it like a Court Bauer approaches you to do? Like how did you get in?
Yeah, so I had an email come through. Oh gosh, what would it have been like late 2019? I think it was maybe like November 2019. And they said, hey, we'd really love to have you come out to our December tapings in New York. We've heard good things about you and we'd just like to see how it goes. So, in my mind, I didn't really see it as a contractual kind of thing at that point. I just thought, okay, like this will be like maybe a one off, two off kind of gig. This sounds great. MLW is awesome. Let's just go. So I fly down there, and then I kind of hear talks of like, oh, we'll see how this goes. If you like us and we're everything that we kind of, you've heard about us and we live up to it, and vice versa with you, maybe we can talk some more. And then I was literally there for 3 hours. And then one of my bosses, Jared, approaches me. And he's like, hey, we'd like to talk contracts with you. And I was like, what? And at the time, I knew that other companies were also interested in me, but it was kind of one of those weird situations, just being very blunt, where it was a waiting game. And you think, am I going to wait forever? Am I going to be waiting a week? What do I do? So I spoke with them. I said, hey, give me just a little bit of time to think this through because it's a huge decision, especially when you sign a multi year deal. And I thought it through. We went back and forth. I told them what I need, and they kind of said their expectations. And it's just obviously I put pen to paper. And
Mhm.
I'm on my second year now. And it's just been a wonderful experience. I've never left a taping or a meeting with anyone from the company or even like a hangout with any of the dudes and just felt off or weird. It's just been a great experience there so far. And I always hear about people signing to different places and they have such horror stories to tell. So for me, the fact that it has been smooth sailing and they've given me this platform and they've just let me be me, I'm very appreciative of that to both Jared and Court and everyone else behind the scenes, but especially those two. They've really just been like amazing supporters in many different ways. So it's been really good there. It's been really good.
Is there a quote unquote script like WB would do, or is this much more free form? You kind of have a bullet points and go.
So there's definitely bullet points in terms of, hey, we need to make sure that we mention so and so's facing so and so, because of course we do have a show and crazy matches to promote. But a lot of the stuff you see, especially the gold, is stuff that we have completely done off the cuff. Like some of my favorite promos are ones that are just ridiculous or off the charts. There was one that I did with Holiday and Hammer, and we were just bickering back and forth, saying the most ridiculous things. And it's just lines come out of nowhere because the whole thing is in the moment. You're really angry at these guys, or they're really annoyed with me. So when we can actually just be honest and say how we're feeling about each other, but the camera's rolling, I think the best promos come from that way because you can feel when something's scripted or someone's trying to remember their lines, and that's always very uncomfortable for me to watch anyways as a viewer. So I never want people to watch MLW and think that. And so far I don't ever feel like that's the case.
Yeah, other places, not gonna say where, it definitely seems like somebody's reading off a script, but in their head,
Yeah.
reading it
Yes,
off.
and you
This is
think
robotic.
exactly, and that's the best word, and it's very robotic and it feels forced almost, and that's why I just like being loose and saying what I want within reason, of course. Like we are in a professional atmosphere,
Right,
but then
right.
again, it's wrestling. So if you want to tell someone to screw off, you can, and that's a great thing. Or if you want to tell a wrestler, hey, that match was amazing, and give them a hug, then you can. So whatever you're feeling in the moment, we rock it at MLW, and I think that's like the rawness, the grit that we bring to the table.